It is expected the Chancellor will approve plans for expansion of Heathrow. Is that a foolish move?
I think it's a mistake, actually. I think it's an illusion of growth. It'll take 10 years to build a runway, cost maybe £50 billion. It'll create the wrong kind of growth. We'll be exporting tourism money abroad, creating a bigger imbalance than we already have. And it will come at the expense of our carbon cutting efforts. So, for example, the 2030 target to get to 100% green on the grid will be wiped out. All of the benefits that will be wiped out by these 3 new runways if they go ahead: Gatwick, Heathrow and Luton. And that can't make any sense, because last year the world suffered 320 billion of damage from extreme weather events. That's double what it was the year before. That's going to keep increasing. And so it doesn't matter how many runways we build. If we don't get on top of the climate crisis, our economy will suffer incredible damage.
So you've spent £6 million backing a chancellor who makes no sense?
Well, you could say that. I don't think it boils down to something as simple as that.
But your description of that problem, she will be familiar with, I'm sure, not just from conversations with you, from the assessments that are provided. And her conclusion, we expect, is the opposite of that. So it sounds like you don't trust her judgment.
No, I think it's a mistake, is what I'm saying. I think the Silicon Valley plan is a good one. I think a lot of what Rachel Reeves has done is good. I like the last budget, raising 40 billion while leaving 90% of people not worse off, was really quite exceptional. But I think expanding Heathrow is a mistake, and we shouldn't be doing it.
Will you stop your support for Labour?
I support Labour naturally. Yeah, I think they make the most sense for our country.
Can you feel good about continuing to bankroll a party whenever it's needed for expanding Heathrow potentially and other airports?
Yeah, no, I hear you. Look, I don't think I bankroll them. I have donated, have contributed. I wanted to make sure that the arms race of the election spending was even. It never has been before. It was for this election for the first time. But look, you don't get everything that you want in life from anything, from a political party, a government, or life is a mixed bag, I would say.
Indeed, it's just that will be a major thing that is announced today, as we're expecting, and it flies in the face of that green agenda about which you care so much. But coming to that agenda, there has been the concern that when she talks about growth will not come without a fight, those on your side of the argument, as it were, those who care about this, will lose the fight in this. How worried are you about that?
I think it's the wrong kind of growth. If you look at the net zero economy, it grew 9% in 2023 compared to 0.1% for the general economy. So we can have growth, but we shouldn't try to get it in these ways that increase our carbon emissions. We've got to decarbonize energy, transport and food. And at the moment, we're on course to do energy, and we'll undo that with this Heathrow expansion, which is a big mistake. There's still a lot of work to do, but we can have growth in the process.
Well, there's also concerns that won't be fast enough either, and that this is about needing to get growth into the economy swiftly. I mean, if we look at, there has been in your particular area, your very personal area, there has been the go-ahead for a major solar farm that you're in charge of in Lincolnshire, or you will be in charge of, and the Energy Secretary or his department has given that the go-ahead and has been criticised for that. Just to get to the area of fights and how people feel, that decision has angered local residents and councillors. They say Mr. Miliband has signed off on your solar farm and in the process will be trashing the countryside, because that farm will span 524 hectares. What do you say to those people who feel like that?
I say there are 5 major solar projects in Lincolnshire that have been consented now. There were 2 last week, one of which was ours, and there are 9 in the pipeline. But even combined, all 14 of those major solar projects will take less than 2% of the land area of Lincolnshire, and I think that's an important perspective.
So why do people feel like that? There's very strong sentiment reported in the papers and in the local press.
Well, I think that's really normal. I've been in renewable energy for 30 years, and you always hear people saying, we don't want a windmill here, it will ruin the view. We don't want solar here. It belongs on rooftops. There's always an alternative. And I know that people are frequently called NIMBYs. I don't think that name calling is the right thing to do, but people care very much about the area that they live in, and they seek to protect it. And yet we all live with the impact of vital national infrastructure. The people around Heathrow won't want a third runway. I can guarantee you that if you go out and do a poll. People around Luton and Gatwick won't want it either. But that's the world we live in. But airports, ports, roads, hospitals, schools, all of this infrastructure, energy infrastructure, is important to us as a country, and collectively we're in this together.
Just briefly, but that's not the only reason some of them feel uncomfortable. They feel uncomfortable because you gave nearly £6 million and now you've had your solar farm signed off.
Okay, well, we can get to that if you like. The project itself was in planning for 3 years, and it was largely consented by the Conservative government, and it's one of 5 consented in Lincolnshire, with 9 more in the pipeline. It's just a big renewable energy project. I've been in renewable energy for 30 years. Should it be surprising that I'm developing renewable energy projects, or that they comply with planning regulations? It was consented through a rigorous independent process. The planning inspectorate gave its recommendation for this. This is not a political decision.
It's important to hear what you have to say in response to those criticisms. Dale, Vince, thank you.